Hi, I'm Rebecca Cotto with Delaware United, and with me today I'm talking to...
Chris Johnson, candidate for State Attorney General.
Great. This is a really serious position, so for this part of the interview we're going to make it a little light. Where did you go to high school?
So, grew up right up the road in Philadelphia. I went to a friend's school, so I was one of the ones who took my academics seriously, but I also took just life seriously. I was a three-sport athlete, football, basketball, and track, and just was about getting involved in everything, which is one thing that friend's school always talks about as a well-rounded person. So I took that to heart, and even through college, I always just still maintained a diverse perspective, and not only being good on academic side, but also engaging in the arts and liking drama and everything that is not like directly like reading.
Great, that's cool. So which of the three sports you played, which one was your favorite?
Well, football was my favorite, despite the bad press it's gotten recently. But actually, in high school, basketball was really the sport in which I first played when I was a young kid, and it was one of those sports where I wasn't necessarily that good, but I just had fun playing it. So.
And that's what it comes down to, fun.
Mm-hmm.
So what, in your family, how many siblings do you have?
I have two siblings, two older sisters. Okay. I'm the baby boy.
You're the baby boy, so were you spoiled?
Yes, my sisters will say that. They're a few years older than me, so they always say I got so much more than them. But it's okay.
So you're probably a gentleman. Usually men that have sisters are.
I would like to think so. You have to ask my wife about that. But
how long have you been married?
I've been married for 3 years, over 3 years actually, 3.5 years. So it's my wife Kate. We live in Wilmington, and we have 4 nephews. So our baby is our cat Topanga. She's our little baby in the house.
Oh, Topanga, that's a cool name. Wait, that's from
Boy Meets World. So it's Topanga Lawrence is her full name. So we're both Boy Meets World fans, and
I love it.
One of the best series in 90 TV's history.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will get a little bit serious. Let's talk about the process of choosing to run for this position. Like, I mean, have you always wanted to be an attorney general? Has it been something that you've thought about, or is it just kind of something that fell into place for you?
I didn't really think about doing this. I thought maybe later in life, but when the opportunity came up and I saw what was happening and the chance for change, I had to step up and run.
Yeah, so we'll talk about policy a little bit later, but definitely right now throughout the country, the platform that you're running on and encouraging is big time now, because people have started to realize what we've done through the years with mass incarceration. So what do you think that you bring to the table, the knowledge that you have about that?
I bring to the table the knowledge of having worked on the ground with these issues with the community. So I'm a longtime member of the Delaware Center for Justice, which is the leading criminal justice advocacy group in the state. We have a wonderful executive director, Ashley Biden, and we have a wonderful policy team. We did lose Eugene Young last year, but we still have a very vibrant policy team that has pushed a progressive criminal justice agenda for a long time. So it was great, to have worked on this before it was even popular. This criminal justice reform was not something that was always talked about. And I also have worked with grassroots groups like the Coalition to Dismantle the New Jim Crow. I've been working with them on community policing forums and workshops. And so for me, I just bring that experience of having done this and having talked with the community through years of just listening. And so that's what I bring to this race, is that I'm not learning on the campaign trail about the problems. I already know the problems, and I'm here to fix them.
What are some of the things that you remember or you learned that happened in the 90s that kind of led to the issue we have now with mass incarceration?
Even Philadelphia was experiencing, extremely high shooting death rates, and there's a lot of murders, and it was really just I started to become more aware of the world around me, and that even though things were okay in my neighborhood, there were other parts of both the city and the region that were struggling, including Wilmington and cities like Camden. We're struggling. So for me, now looking back, I'm like, yeah, I do understand, because what I would see is, guys coming out of prison and then going back in. And something as a kid I didn't really understand, but then now you look back, you understand what the system did. It robbed them of opportunity that they didn't have a choice but to go back.
Right.
Reentry is where the game is. That's where we win. That's the only way we're going to make safer neighborhoods. And it's just going back to the tenets of what we should do as human beings, and valuing humans. Let's start investing in people and not prisons. Let's invest in our human capital, which one of the best resource of Delaware is its people. It's great, talented, resourceful people. So we need to invest in them, and the most critical stage is the reentry stage, because that's the point where either you're getting them on the right path to reform, or you're setting them back to the cycle of ending back up in prison within a year or so. So that's why I'm running. And again, it's a major part of my platform is that not only am I talking about justice reform, but I'm talking about reentry reform.
Okay, so at Delaware United, like, our biggest goal is to get people engaged in the process, engaged in the community. We like to refer to ourselves as political activists. Tell me how you feel about groups like Delaware United and any other ones that you might know about.
Groups like Delaware United are the lifeblood of Delaware and the future of Delaware. And we need to start directing resources to groups like Delaware United and Network Delaware and the ACLU, because that's where this change is going to happen. Because national studies show that the cities that have achieved safety, sure, they change policing practices, sure, they change policy, but it's also civic engagement goes up. So it's not only the policing done the right way, but civic groups are strong. Neighborhood watches are strong. Neighborhood planning councils are strong. And that's the background that I have, because I'm on my planning council. I'm on my civic group, and I do that. And that's how strong communities are built. So encouraging this from the micro level, issue campaign groups and grassroots activists, that's how this change will happen. So there needs to be a directing of resources to groups like Delaware United, because that's how this change will happen. Because when I'm advocating for a policy, such as keeping death penalty off the table, and keeping our waterways clean, and keeping our air clean, it's those activists who apply the pressure. And I'm going to just flip it. If you look at a lot of the conservative policies that are pushed, the NRA, the policies that they push, and even we just had Regulation 225, which we had a good Department of Education bill or regulation that was stripped of its meaning, because of the right-wing activists were very organized and very vocal, and submitted over 11,000 comments to Department of Education. So that is where change happens, and that's where the NRA is very effective. And so on the left side, we have to start building that infrastructure where we're investing these groups, and we're aligning with the groups and saying, look, government needs you, and we have these ideas that we're going to push. We need you standing behind us, getting the public riled up in support of this vision of progressive change. So groups like Delaware United will be invaluable for me being successful as Attorney General, because right now there is no connection with government, and I'm looking to build that bridge and direct access to state government.
That's awesome.